AITA. Am I the a-hole for telling my habitually late mom that if she can't be on time, don't come to my wedding? It's last Friday night. My wife and I run a small mom and pop restaurant in the US. We are always busy on Friday nights. When we are filled to capacity, we have 300 plus in our restaurant. We welcome people and groups from all background and all walks of life. We do not discriminate against anyone and take care of every customer like they are family. We are mainly an chicken and seafood grill. We serve other items, but our main selling point is our hot wings and shrimp. There was a family that came in last week from out of town with a special needs child. He was being very loud the whole time and screaming. I politely asked the family if they could calm him, as we were filled to capacity and the screaming was disturbing half the guests in our restaurant. He calmed down, then about 5 minutes later he started back again, except this time he was cursing and screaming racial slurs at an African American family sitting behind them. This is where I drew the line. The mother was distraught about it and apologized profusely, but I couldn't let them stay. I asked them to leave, though I did give them 50% off their meal. I don't feel like I should have. I let the African American family eat for free and gave them a voucher for a free order of hot wings, which they said they would use soon. My thought process is, they were using slander and racist slurs against a large percentage of our clientele. I couldn't have that. Am I the a-hole? My family tells me that I singled them out and embarrassed them in front of everyone, but if this was a national chain they were in doing this, then they would have been kicked out immediately with no exceptions. NTA. Not the a-hole. You didn't kick the family out because their kid was special. You kicked them out because the kid was being disruptive and yelling out racist slurs against other customers. NTA. Not the a-hole. You offered 50% off their meal and had them leave. You made the choice to either make one family leave, or have the rest of your clientele leave, and you made a smart business move. NTA. And thank you for kicking them out. I get that the kid might not have meant the racial slurs or was unaware of their meanings, but that doesn't make them any more pleasant to hear. This sort of behavior should not be tolerated, and you did the right thing, and was very kind in how you treated both families. NTA. I do think they deserved the discount. Not because I think they're entitled to it. You're free to do as you'd like with your discounts, but sometimes people just need a break. The kid was obviously not great for your business, but I'm sure these guys just want to have a nice dinner out like any other family. It didn't work out and they had to leave. You handled it all really well. Obviously, you're not obligated to give anyone sympathy discounts, but small gestures of kindness and understanding make the world a better place. NTA. The kid may have had special needs, but he was being offensive to multiple customers. You handled this very well. I feel bad for the family, but it seems like this was the best course of action to keep things from escalating. This sub is quickly turning into people who know they aren't assholes. I would genuinely be worried about whether I'd done the right thing. People with intellectual disabilities face horrific levels of discrimination and abuse on a daily basis, and in a lot of places it would be straight up illegal to kick someone out or refuse them a service because of their disability. But in this case, OP didn't kick them out because of their disability but because of the racial slurs they were yelling. That's fair, but I can see why they wanted reassurance. Definitely NTA. I sympathize with the parents of the special needs child because that's a tough road to travel, and I'm in no place to judge. However, as a parent I firmly believe there are behaviors that are absolutely unacceptable, period, end of story, and racial aggression is one of them. If the parents were going to tolerate that and just hope others would forgive, that's inappropriate, and it's absolutely appropriate for you to intervene. The parents need to learn that can't be tolerated. NTA. You didn't kick them out because the kid was loud, you kicked them out because the kid was hurling racial abuse at another family. You comped half their meal. I don't think you really had any other choice. AITA. I worked with a young autistic man for a while. Part of inclusion and the company I worked for was to get them out in the public, but he liked to yell "frock" and "igger." He did not learn them from his family, I assure you. Anyway, part of inclusion is that they have the same standard of conduct. I used to prep him before going in, but if he started acting up, we left. He's barred from multiple places. Fantastic bait and switch title OP. What you meant to put for your title was AITA for kicking out someone who was screaming racial slurs at a family in my restaurant, but of course that wouldn't draw people into your post, would it? SMH. For this, you are the a-hole. But that is not what his family have been criticizing him for. His title reflects that. AITA. There's a difference between being discriminatory and kicking someone out for being discriminatory. No, you handled it well. Once the kid's tirade became personally directed at other clients, your hands are pretty much tied anyway. Even before that point, you'd be well within your rights as the owner. In that setting, disruptive behavior is disruptive behavior, and it could hurt business on a big night for your restaurant. Doesn't make asking them to leave any easier though. I'm sorry you had to do that. To be honest, even if this kid would have been yelling anything else, random numbers, dog breeds, types of cars, or baseball teams, you still wouldn't have been the a-hole for asking a disruptive customer to leave. AITA. My family tells me that I singled them out and embarrassed them in front of everyone. Like how the kid, special needs or not, singled out the African American family and yelled racial slurs at them, and thus embarrassed them in doing so. Would it be the same thought process if it wasn't a special needs kid? I have no clue what they're thinking, but you definitely did the right thing, especially by offering discounts like you did. Nobody should have to listen to racial slurs or anything of the sort being shouted at them, especially while simply trying to enjoy a meal with their family, regardless of who says it or why. AITA. Did you really need to ask? You kicked somebody being racist out. AITA, especially given the racist outbursts, and the fact that you tried to show sympathy towards the family of the special needs child. AITA. While if this were to make it onto social media you would get hate mail, it makes sense that you prevented a disruption to your business. I was at a restaurant with family, and my 1-year-old grandson started crying very loudly. I picked him up and took him outside for a walk until he stopped crying. No reason for us to disrupt other diners even though a 1-year-old cannot control himself. A special needs person is in the same position. We do not give them a loaded handgun, we do not put them in the driver's seat of a car, and we do not let them disrupt a restaurant full of diners. I respect that you offered the discounts as well. There was no need in my opinion, but it shows you treat people well. You say the mother was distraught. That shows me she understands and is also a decent person. Anyone here suggesting the child was taught this behavior by his parents does not have enough information to make that judgment. That language is now everywhere. NaH. No a-holes here. Kid has mental disabilities and can't comprehend the weight of words. Parents must have been very embarrassed and obviously did not approve. You gave them a cheap meal and the victims a free meal. Just a shit situation. Why aren't these all marked NaH? No a-holes here. The kid's not an arsehole, the mum's not an arsehole, and the restaurant owner is not an arsehole. It's just a very awkward situation and OP had to do what was best for the most people, and the business. NaH. Kids with special needs, Tourette's, can't control their tics, which are often slurs. However, if you kept him in, they surely would have ruined many others' experience. You did what you could, and should have.